Join me today as we talk about Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 5. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobby, and today we're going to be talking about Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 5. We're going to do this a little bit differently because I've been trying to figure out a way to get these recordings out right after the episode. I don't have anything set up inside yet, and it's dark out, so recording in the car is a little difficult. So we're going to go for just a screenshot here as I talk. So hopefully that's acceptable to everyone, but here we go. So episode 5. I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of people come on here and tear this episode to pieces because that's what's been happening so far. I am honestly going to say that had I cared about the characters going into this, I would have actually liked this episode because this one seemed to be competently paced and written and everything else. I guess I should go ahead and say, just in case you haven't seen my other episodes, we're going straight into spoilers on this one, so you've been warned. So anyway, like I said, the lightsaber fights were, in my opinion, actually pretty well done. Most of the combat is pretty well done. Now, unfortunately, the big reveal was insanely predictable, and if you've seen my other episodes on this, I and many others predicted exactly who the Sith Lord was. And yes, he is a Sith Lord. He spelled out the fact he's a Sith Lord. However, he did also spell out that he knows that to remain a secret, he has to kill everyone, and he's killed just about everybody. So, he did take that into account. And as he did point out, he did wear a mask. So, he seems like he was definitely not enthused at what May intended on doing as far as betraying him. And May apparently was like willing to actually go for it. But the Jedi kept, attacking her. And Osha is having none of it because Osha still blames her for everything that happened. And there's talk of some darkness within Soul. That's a Squid Game. And I've got the feeling that we're going to have a later episode revelation that they were probably responsible for the witches dying, which I'm really hoping that it's like a case of mistaken intentions or something and not just the Jedi just like, well, we got to kill you now. But I guess we'll find out. Yeah, so basically Squid Game, Osha, and May are the only ones who walk out of this fight. All of the other Jedi get killed, mostly by the Sith Lord. Actually, I think they all got killed by the Sith Lord. So we don't have to deal with any baloney from Yord anymore. He got his neck snapped. The one Padawan that was doing their best impression of a Vulcan half the time, she got killed. The Sith Lord's lightsaber is a funky lightsaber. He can attach part of the handle and has another blade on it. And he didn't spell out what he was using for his armor, but every time like his helmet or a gauntlet that he was wearing got hit, it shorted out the other person's lightsaber, which tells me they probably brought in, I believe it's cortosis, if I recall correctly, but it's been a while. As a metal from the EU, and that's what it would do. It would short out a lightsaber whenever it got hit. So it, or something that's effectively like it, has apparently been brought in. And again, I believe I'm recalling the name of it correctly. I believe it's cortosis. So that's interesting that has happened. The entire episode takes place on the planet that they were on, the jungle planet. And then at the end, Osha and May confront each other, and May seems to imply that there's more going on as far as the Jedi, and she's like, Osha, you've been brainwashed. And Osha's like, no, I know what I saw. Like, you tried to kill us all. You did succeed in killing most of them. And so that's why I think that we're going to have a late reveal that the Jedi did something to kill the witches. But we'll see. And Soul keeps beating around the bush, saying that there's something else that he'll tell Osha in time. And so the two of them fight. May prevails because she's been training as a fighter for the last several years. And then she alters her hair to look just like Osha's, and then steals Osha's clothes, and she goes back with Soul. They take off for parts unknown, presumably back to Coruscant. And then the poisoner guy, whose name I haven't yet remembered, decides that he is apparently going to take in Osha. She's sitting there unconscious, and he throws his cloak over her. So I guess he's going to take her in. We'll see. But yeah, he was quite the wrecking machine. Up against the Jedi. Took them all out. And like I said, he did spell out that yes, he is a Sith because the Soul's like, "Who are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't have a name." He's like, "But you Jedi would probably call me a Sith." So and then Soul's like, "Well, why would you risk revealing yourself?" And he's like, "Well, I did wear a mask." He's like, "I just had to make sure that I kill all of you." And he kind of looks around like the job's mostly done. So So yeah, um, I assume that Soul is going to have to die, and Osha and May either die or don't go back to the Jedi or something. Somehow, none of this information has to make it back to the Jedi. Most specifically, Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is illogically here now. The guy who spells out the Sith haven't been seen in a millennia is in the middle of a situation involving the Sith. So we'll have to see how that gets dealt with. But yeah, like I said, this episode actually seemed fairly competently made. And, had I cared about the characters going into it, I probably would have been more excited for it because this would have been a decent episode. But as is, I just don't care for any of them. And now most of them are dead. So um, there is an interesting turn of events here with Osha and May. Have to see how it plays out. I can't predict that one like I have most of the other things in the show. I don't see Osha joining the Sith Lord, but if the Jedi did do something and he tells her, she might flip, and at that point might ask him to train her. Now it's going to be limited unless the show has one heck of a time jump, which I'm guessing won't happen. But you never know. So with the trajectory we're going, I figure episode 8 will be an actual okay episode. But yeah, that's about all I've got for episode 5. There's nothing really to rip into like the others, and there's nothing serious to complain about. Um, Other than they're dragging out the mystery as far as the Jedi way too long, and it's probably going to be as predictable as who the Sith Lord was. So that's the problem with your mysteries is if the whole thing's built on a mystery, you have to leave enough clues that someone could have guessed, but not so many that they make the answer obvious. And here the answer was obvious. The only way there could be another twist at this point is if this guy's actually just the apprentice to another master. And timeline wise, depending on what all they're going to consider canon at this point, it can't be Darth Plagueis. Maybe Darth Tenebris, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Plagueis' master. Maybe him. But I don't know how long the Bith live. So, but anyway, that's about all I got for this one. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff to YouTube. But otherwise, just remember, the Force will be with you always.